Hi, my name is Gerhard Gschwandtner, and welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the great pleasure of speaking with John DeVore. He is the captain of the Red Bull team. Walk us back to this when you grew up in Alaska, in Juneau, and right in front of your house, you watched an eagle's nest. Tell me about that.
I had the luck, I guess, of growing up in a house that was right on the ocean. Right outside my bedroom window was a big eagle's nest, and I could, see the eagles all the time, sea lions out in the ocean, walk down off my steps, go scuba diving, and little did I know that it was creating a unique experience for me to grow with. When I was junior and senior in high school, I started getting involved in the adventure tourism world in Alaska with all the people coming off the cruise ships. And I started seeing at a young age that adventure tourism was becoming hotter and hotter. And the biggest thing I wanted to offer that our town did not have was tandem skydiving. I knew it'd be a big success. So I chased a girlfriend to a small little community college in Texas, of all places, just with a goal of, one, getting some basic understanding of business, and two, finding a local drop zone there to learn how to skydive, because they didn't offer that in Alaska. During my first semester in college, I sat down with my guidance counselor, and she actually told me that I needed to drop out of school and pursue my dreams and go get the certifications and the things that I really needed to be able to offer. And I could always come back and get the knowledge of business in school anytime, and kind of send myself to my own, I guess you'd almost call it like VOTEC school, where I wanted to move to a big drop zone and get my tandem ready and to become a tandem master. And so I did that, and the rest is history.
What attracted you to wingsuit, and what was the process for you?
In 2001, Jean-Louis Albert, one of the guys we were competing against, a French skydiver, after the World Cup in Gap, France, he did a private viewing of a video. And it was the first time anyone in the world had ever seen anyone fly a wingsuit onto a mountain's deck and complete proximity flight down a mountain. And that was the second that me and my teammates looked at each other and were like, now that's flying. And then slowly started introducing smaller, more beginner type wingsuits, jumping off the cliffs. And at first just flying away from the cliff and getting used to that whole sensation, and eventually learning how to turn back towards the mountain and flying proximity that now is very popular and everywhere today.
Everybody seems to talk about being in the present moment, that there's nothing else on your mind, just focus on the here and now, because you have to be in the flow, right?
That second you jump off the edge of a cliff, everything else in life turns off. And that's kind of the most magical part to me, is just how everything slows down, the hyper focus comes into play, and there's really no time for any other thoughts, whether you have, work problems, life problems, or no problems. It all just turns off, and all you can do is be very present in the moment.
Share the story where you were directing a movie scene. What was the movie where you had like 5 people flying in formation?
It's Point Break reimagined. I grew up in 1991, the original Point Break came out. And that's what really turned me on to skydiving. I was only 16 at the time. To flash forward through all the years, to get the phone call from the director, Erickson Core, and realizing the opportunity to not only be the stunt coordinator for all the aerial sequences, but to also double Johnny Utah, and to bring in all of my really close friends and teammates to be able to do this was just a really full circle moment for me. We took a lot of time and a lot of energy to do that whole aerial sequence, and to do it safely, and to not put any CGI in the sequence at all. There wasn't one thing in that movie that I didn't land from, go into the production van and see it. And everything we did was 100% for real.
How did you hook up with Red Bull?
In 1997, I was competing and training on a team in Florida, and I was really good friends with Charles Bryan and Mike Vale, are the two guys' names. Mike and Charles were the ones that gave me a call in Florida and said, hey, we got this thing going on, move out, help us open this drop zone in Tahoe. We got this new company, Red Bull, they're supporting us. And so I was really chomping at the bit to be a part of these demos and things. And then kind of a sad but truth story of how I really accelerated into becoming a Red Bull athlete was Frank Gambale was the first base jumper that Red Bull sponsored in America. And he had a fatal accident, not really base jumping, but he was base jumping in Yosemite. And sadly, because of the stupid rules in America, the forest rangers were chasing him after he landed. And he decided to try to jump into the river and float down the river to get away from the authorities. And he never made it out of the river. He drowned in the river. So I got the phone call to kind of like, nobody even knew Frank had passed away yet. He was just missing, but we thought he's hiding from the authorities, typical Frank, you know? So that was the first like real demo I did for Red Bull. And I met the right people and I was doing the right things and, you know, winning world championships, and just all the cards fell into place. And Red Bull decided to try to grow the aerial program at that exact time. And so it all started there.